I've been speaking for SCORE for a while, but I can always have a new presentation because AI is just changing so fast. So today's presentation is called What's New in AI? And it's going to be a little bit different than my normal presentations. I do have a digital workbook for you guys to get. So Cody does have that link, and I also have the QR code here. And this digital workbook is something that we can all work together on because I know it's really fun to actually work alongside me. And with this, you can actually copy and paste the prompts we're going to use. And I have links to all the tools that I'll be showing you today. So I'll give you a second to grab that. I also just want to mention, so there's hundreds of new AI tools out, but one of the things that we're going to focus on today and that we'll do together is how to create your brand voice, because going into all of these tools, they're all helping us create content. So whether it's copy or imagery or videos, it's all content for our business. And if you don't have that brand DNA figured out, then the content you make is just going to be more AI generated content. And we all know that there's a big waste when we're creating so much content without the guidelines to get us the content we need. I think I just said content like 10 times, so I won't say it again. So go ahead and get this link. It'll look like this when you get here. Oh, I should be at the top. So it's your digital workbook, and just leave it open for now and we'll come back to that. All right, so what we're going to cover today are AI tool stack, some of our foundational AI tools that are great for small business owners. All of the tools I'll show you today have free versions. A lot of them will charge after a certain amount of use, but just know I'm not affiliated with the tools we're showing to get today, and I've tried my hardest to make them affordable because I know Cody mentioned earlier too. We'll just try all these new tools and then all of a sudden we have hundreds of dollars of subscriptions. So we'll talk through the tools. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on AI agents and automations because we can't even talk about new tools without going into that. I want to talk to you about how important it is to have an AI repository and show you an example. And then we're going to implement our brand voice together by going through a few prompts that are in our digital workbook. So before I get started, I'd like to just introduce myself. My name is Robin Anderson, but my nickname is Jam, so some of you may have met me as Jam. And for the past 3 years, I've been really lucky because I've been watching our world change with the daily advancement of AI, but I've been able to serve as an educator and a community organizer to help people understand AI and how it's affecting our lives and our work. Speaking of work, I am the CEO of JM AI, and basically for the past 15 years, I've been helping small businesses grow online. And I've been working inside of multiple large agencies, doing everything from web development to SEO strategy to digital marketing to video production. So in late 2022, I saw the writing on the wall and I knew AI was going to change absolutely everything. So Club Jam is my main thing that I spend my time on. It's a community first, and then we have on-demand training, live training, and a bunch of workbooks and templates. I'll show you this QR code again later, but it's a great place to learn AI as a group because as small business owners, we're all kind of facing the same struggles. We also offer AI consulting. We have AI-powered websites. We do AI agent development, and I also have the small business helpline. So before we get started, I just want to show you how I run my workday when I am in the office trying to get content creation done, doing my prospecting. We're a small team here. We have 3 people on our team, and so we all have a lot to get done. I'd say most of my automations are prospect forward. However, I do have a lot of marketing, and then this 12% is really amazing because it's stuff I would probably ignore and not do without AI. So one of the things I really like to do is use agentic AI. This is an example from Comet, which is Perplexity's browser. And I have to mention that just yesterday, OpenAI came out with their own browser called Atlas. So this is in Comet, and basically it's a browser just like Google Chrome or Safari. However, when you get to a website and you're logged in, you could ask that agent to do things for you. So in this case, I said browse LinkedIn for conversations about AI training, read through the comments, and then apply this question as you see fit, which was, what's your plan to train your team on AI in 2026? So the cool part is that it won't just take that question and paste it on every post where it's applicable. It'll actually read the post and then create a comment that is geared towards that post. So we all know we have to expand our digital footprint online. And for me, I don't feel like I should be spending my time commenting on social platforms. However, I know it's important. So that's one of the things I like AI to do. Another thing we recently came out with was our call AI agent. And so this is actually our AI manager for Club Jam. And I found that when a lot of people join, I have people joining at all different levels of AI expertise. I have people who have never even signed into ChatGPT, and I have people trying to make custom automations in N8N. And so they can call this agent, and it's a voice-to-voice agent where they can communicate. So I thought I'd show that in real time.
Hey, I'm Alex. Welcome to Club Jam. How can I help you today?
Hi, Alex. I'm new to AI. Where should I start?
Welcome, champion. You're in the right place. Start with our AI Foundations workbook inside the Club Jam community on School. It walks you through ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and a simple daily workflow so you get quick wins.
So that's kind of a fun way to use an AI agent. And we'll talk about this further, but the reason that this is an AI agent and not an automation, trying to really help people understand the difference, is that this AI agent, it's been given guardrails to a point. It knows everything about my business. It knows about all of our modules. It knows about our community. And it knows that it's supposed to be helpful and guide our members to the training that they need. However, I had my husband try it out the other day, and he started asking it about when the Marlins were playing, and it completely answered his question and went off the rails. So I had to go in and put in more restraints. So it is a full agent because it's making its own decisions on what it's going to do. It hasn't been pre-programmed. However, this is an example of a pre-programmed automation that we have. So every time we post a blog, which we do every day, it triggers our RSS feed. And so what that does is it says, okay, there's a new blog at Jam AI. We're going to send it to Perplexity. Perplexity really then takes the content and breaks it down into a really understandable format for the next steps in the process. So Perplexity takes its information and then it's fed to different instances of my ChatGPT. And each one of those is trained to do a specific thing. So this information is going to LinkedIn, or it's going to ChatGPT where it's writing a LinkedIn post, then creating an image for that post. And then it goes to my Gmail because I'm a control freak and I want to see it before it gets posted. Same thing, it goes to Instagram, it writes an Instagram caption, hashtags, all those things it's trained to do. It creates an image for that post, and then it does go directly to that page. And then same thing for x.com, and then it'll go to my Gmail for approval. So that's a really great way to constantly have social media ready to go, ready to post in my email or already posting for me. I saw a lot of you in the question and answer area said that you love Claude. I love Claude so much. I like it because I can integrate I can have it go into my Google Drive, my Gmail, and I have such an organization system inside my Gmail. You guys would be proud of me. So I can have it go in and say, hey, go to my partner folder and create a response to all the unopened emails, create a draft response. So that's nice because I can log in and these emails that I really want to get to are already pre-written. I'll just go in and kind of take out emojis and rewrite them a little bit. But that saves me a lot of time because I'm not starting at 0 with my inbox. I'm starting at like 90% done. Every day, I also go to my Jam AI content repository. And this is something we'll be talking about more today, but every small business has a lot of content behind it. You have all of your digital content that you have out there on your website. A lot of you have products and information around those, and it's kind of all over your desktop. I like to have it in Notebook LM, which is a free tool from Google that I'll be showing you in a little bit. And I like to put all of everything we create in there. So our top of funnel offers, our website pages, all of our training materials. So this has everything in there, and I can go and ask specific questions about that content. I can brainstorm, I could ask where things are, and it's been a really great way to keep me organized. And then I also have custom GPTs that are ready to work, and they're called the Real Agents of Jam AI, based off of the Real Housewives, obviously. But each one has its own job. So Jamie does our content creation, and Morgan does our business development. So what this means is that these are ChatGPT instances that are trained to do one specific thing, or run one specific department, rather. So Morgan is in charge of proposals, contracts, following up with clients who might seem interested or prospects who might seem interested. And the really cool part is we have an automation where if I do a consulting call and they want to move forward with a project, I can just upload our transcript to Morgan and she'll read through everything that was said and she'll put out a proposal for me within a matter of minutes. And then I'll take that again. I don't ever send those directly to my clients, but I'll work with them and massage it. And again, I'm starting at 90%. We also use Hootsuite, which has been really helpful to help us get our social media intact because it has a lot of automation in here as well. And in make.com, we can connect to Hootsuite. Okay, I would like to visit this digital workbook before we get started. One of the things that I mentioned is that, we really want to talk about our brand voice and how we can create content that sounds just like you and will make sure that you're resonating with your audience. So if you could, I would like you to click on this. It says how to use AI effectively without losing your authentic brand voice. So this is one of the trainings that we do in our club, and it's really important because if you are a person or if you've heard a person say, oh, AI doesn't work, or ChatGPT creates content I can't use, or it all sounds the same. Well, I hate to say it, but it's kind of your fault because the better you prompt it, the better their response. I've heard people say garbage in, garbage out. So this is a really fun way to create a brand voice discovery. So you have instructions here. There's 2 prompts that I'd like you to try. You can put it into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever your preferred AI assistant is. And this is an AI-powered archetype discovery prompt. So you just copy this, and it uses foundational elements from marketing experts, and it'll actually give you your archetype. So I'll show you an example of mine. I ran it beforehand because ChatGPT has been a little bit slow today. So I do want to show you one thing that I did. So when I put this prompt in, I also added my business blueprint. So this is a document that gives you lots of information about yourself. All it is was a quick survey where it's what's my business about? How old is it? Um, what's my elevator pitch? Who are my customers? What are my goals? What are our products? I do have this template on my website if you want to grab it. Otherwise, I would suggest putting your website with this prompt. And then ChatGPT will actually go out and browse your website with the prompt. Or you can just put this prompt in and it'll ask you a bunch of questions. However you go about it, there's no right or wrong way. There's just fast and slow ways. So this is a fast way. So you can see here, it went through my business blueprint. And so my core essence, my brand exists to teach, simplify, and empower through wisdom. And it's calling me the sage, the enlightened educator. Ooh, I'll take it. It's quite nice. So why it fits, focus on education, clarity, just kind of goes over exactly what I put in that business blueprint and is telling me why that fits. And then my secondary archetype would be the hero. So it's something very true about me. I'm always trying to motivate other people, our members, small business owners. And so why does this matter? You might be wondering. Well, we can create our brand voice document with information like this. And I'll show you what this means. But you're going to want to copy all of this information that it gives you and then put it into a Google document or a Word doc, whatever you use for keeping information. So it goes into brand personality, brands that exemplify the sage and hero blend, Tony Robbins. I don't know who Marie Forleo is. I need to figure that out. And HubSpot. So, okay, so then social media. You can see here, it'll say share transformation stories before Jam AI versus after mastering AI. So you can see here already, it's giving content strategy with this voice. So this is a really cool way to get that information. If you go back to our digital workbook, right under here, there's a second one. And you do the same thing, copy the prompt, but put it into a new chat, wherever you do it, Claude, ChatGPT, enter your website URL or your business information. And then this gives you your, excuse me, your voice DNA formula. And, excuse me, again, it brings in all of this information, but also gives you some percentages. So 2 years ago, when I first started doing workshops on how to create your brand voice, we used to take celebrities and say, be 50% Gwyneth Paltrow and 50% The Rock. And so it'd be a really fun way to bring those celebrity voices to the content you're creating. So this is kind of a more advanced way that we're doing that, where it's based on your digital presence, your website, your brand, and not a celebrity that you would like your brand to be like. So it goes on to kind of talk about the do's and don'ts, how you talk. And basically all you do is you would copy this and then copy the results from here and put it into a document, whether it's a Word document or Google document, and save it as your business name's brand voice. And that's it. And now when you go learn all of these tools that I'm going to show you, you're going to be able to create content based on your brand voice. So let me show you how that works. There's a couple ways to do this in ChatGPT and also in Gemini. In ChatGPT, you have to have the Pro version to create a custom GPT, but you do go to Explore and then Create. And a custom GPT is going to be a custom GPT is a version of ChatGPT that's trained to do one specific thing. And so in this case, whether you're in Google Gems on Gemini or ChatGPT, you want to create a content creation tool for your business. And so the reason I like to use ChatGPT is you can hit this create button and say, I want to create a AI agent that'll create content in my brand voice. And so you just put that prompt in and it'll end up building it for you. So once it does that, let's see. I'd like to create social media posts, blogs, ad copy, and email campaigns. I have multiple documents to train this agent. Okay, you just hit enter. Fun fact while that's going, you may have noticed I don't type anymore. This is one of the tools that I wanted to talk about today, so that was a good example. It's called Whisper AI, and the product is called Flow. So all I do is hold down one key and start talking, and it literally types everything out perfectly, as you just saw. Sorry, I lost my tab. Close your eyes. Don't want you guys to get lost. Okay, here we are. So, all right. I will upload my brand voice document in here, if it allows me. Okay, it's not allowing me, so I'm just going to copy it for right now. And that's only because ChatGPT has been kind of wonky today, just to let you know. So I have a lot of things pre-recorded on here if we need. I know we've had a whole week with AWS down, so I'm giving everybody a pass. So I just pasted in what it gave me earlier, and now it's creating the GPT. So what that means is for the rest of the time, when we're going to go back to the presentation and look at all these AI tools that we need to create content for, you're going to be in a really great spot because you're going to have all of this whole agent creating content for you for all of these different tools. Okay, so then would you like to use one of these, or do you already have a name? It always wants to name it and give it a picture. So it does that, and then it'll configure it. So you can see before this was empty, and now it's using the brand DNA that I gave it, and I could go and upload my brand voice, the document, which might be a little bit repetitive at this point, but I'll still do it. And now I have a content creation custom GPT to help me with creating all of the content for the AI tools that we use. All right, so we just hit create. And when you create a custom GPT, you can make it private. So that means the access is invite only, or you can share with your team if you have a Teams account, or you can make it public, anyone with the link. That means I could share it with all of you. Or if you put it in the GPT store, that means that anyone who explores GPTs could find it. So go ahead and hit update. Cool. Well, hopefully you all were able to see how that works. If you're not following along, don't worry about it. I know it's a lot right now, but I think I really wanted to get that out because I don't want to just show you all these tools without telling you how important it is to have a content plan first. So I think you all got that. So we're going to be going over some of the AI tools that are in our workbook. and just wanted to show you these before we get in. There's obviously some older ones, but have been getting updates to them quite a bit. So obviously we have Gemini, we have ChatGPT and Claude, which I saw are the winners of what most of you are using. I saw somebody in our chat was using make.com, which is an automation platform. And then I just made the most amazing avatar of myself in Hey Jen. So I'm going to show you that one today. The AI voice agent that I showed you earlier, that was in 11 Labs. So I'll show you that as well. And then Fathom, that's one of the many tools where you can record your calls on Zoom. So there's Fathom, there's Otter, there's Fireflies, there's Zoom, there's Loom. There's so many different tools that do the same thing. And again, I'm not getting paid or representing any of these specifically. I just wanted you to know that they exist. And then a couple other really amazing tools out there. Lovable, which is a vibe coding platform. If any of you guys have had trouble building websites, I can't wait to show you this because your days of struggling to build your website are over. It's so easy. And then I had to put in Nano Banana. It's Google's new image generation tool. Well, at this point, it's like a month and a half old. And it's also been implemented into tons of other AI platforms because it's so good. We finally now have the ability to do character consistency and place products with your image. So that's really changed everything. Notebook LM is the one I showed you earlier, where I keep my entire repository, but there's also a really cool way to use that for prospecting. And then Manus is my favorite research tool. I did a whole webinar on that yesterday, and I could have gone for another couple hours. And then Ideogram is where we make images. I showed you the Whisper Flow tool, and Canva, of course, should be every small business user's best friend. And then hopefully you consider Jam as well as one of your tools. So the cool thing about our digital workbook is every time I do these webinars, people are like, wait, which one was what? Give me the link. And so if you just scroll down, you can actually see here that you can filter all the AI tools I just talked about by category, and you can try them out yourself. So I have obviously all these tools up, and I would like to show you how these work. So Ideogram is a really awesome image generation tool. I thought I'd stay on the Explore tab today just so you can see the vibrant difference in what it can create. So this really cool product placement type photo, all the way to these cartoony ones, a lot of 3D elements. And this one's great too because you can upload your own pictures and create images from that. So I know a lot of people are trying to keep brand consistency and they find it hard. The other cool thing in here is if you see something that you like, you can simply click on it and you can grab the prompt. And so this is a fun way to kind of take something and make it yours. So you could go in and change it, put a person in it, change the colors, whatever you need to do. I've made most of our marketing images and a lot of my presentation images and things on our website are made in Ideogram. And it's very fun. There's characters that you can use, and they seem to be adding things to it all the time. So I wanted to make sure to show you this one. Make.com is, I think, the beginner's place to start for automation. So if you're thinking about trying to do an automation and you're new to it, I think make.com is the best place to try it. Now, the reason I say that is because it's very easy to visually create an automation. So I thought I would just show you a quick blank scenario. We're not going to create the whole thing because we don't have time, but I would like to just show you that when you click in here, let's say you want to, we just did this in another webinar where there's a small business owner who owns a cookie shop. And currently he's manually taking in the order and then putting it on a Google sheet. And then he has to email both the customer and the baker separately. So he could automate that really simply. You just hit the plus button, and here's where you can find hundreds of different apps, and all you have to do is select it. So that guy would need a Google sheet to look for new orders. And then from there, he would go to another Google sheet where he would add the order, right? Once it's approved. And then he would, then we'd need a router that splits it. So then we'd need that order to go both to send an email both to the customer and then an email to the baker. So that's just super simple how you could set these up. Obviously, once you click in, you do have to find the sheet and everything, but they're very simple automations. The other automation platform is Zapier, and Zapier is also pretty easy to use. It is more expensive, I found, and so I was using Zapier for an automation that was basically every time a meta ad was clicked that I was running, the meta ad form was filled out, then it would put this person into an email flow. And my meta ad was performing really well, which was great. However, I was paying every time this went, and it ended up eating away at my credits, and I had to update my plan. So it can get a little bit expensive. So just think about your automations. I just did another webinar on workflows and automations, and it's a really big topic. So if you're interested in learning more about that, find me and I can send you that. But for this, I want to keep it as what's new in AI, so I want to keep going. But it's a whole other thing. Now, I know we talked about custom GPTs in ChatGPT, but sometimes people want to bring that feature to their website, right? So they want to take a custom GPT and put it on their website. And technically, that would be an agent. I like chat-based for small businesses because it's easy to use. So once you build your agent, you just connect your OpenAI API key, and then you can train it to answer specific questions, but it'll also be using your trained custom GPT, so it doesn't go off the rails. So these are some examples of it, and definitely worth checking out. I believe it's like $30 a month. Yeah, $40 a month. I see they have a free version, but I don't remember that being applicable for what I'm talking about. So we'll check it out. Maybe the free version would work for you, but I was talking about this one where it connects to ChatGPT. All right, so I want to show you Nano Banana because it's so cool. So you can start as a prompt, or you can start with an image and add something. So I thought today we could just try it with an image adding a product, because I know a lot of small business owners were excited about that. So let's do a girl walking a dog. We'll find an image. Okay. Oh, I need to save the image. Okay. And then let's do a, what are those water bottles that all the kids think are cool? And I don't think they're cool anymore, but they were cool. So we'll give her a $62 Stanley water bottle. Save image. Okay, so we'll go in here and we'll say, have the girl hold this cup. So we're going to upload both the girl and the cup and hit submit. And we'll see how this works. We had a whole training session on Nano Banana for like an hour. And while this is running, one of the most interesting use cases I saw was with old time photos. So if you have any old time photos, you can put that in and then ask for it to restore it, and it'll color it and make it look new. Okay, so it gave her the water bottle. Looks perfect. It's the same one and everything. So yeah, that's a new way to do product placement really easily. You could have her change the color of the leash. You could get as details as you want with these. I have a couple of our realtor members that are uploading pictures of homes that they're selling and then asking Nano Banana to change the paint color just to show the buyer what it could look like. You know, there's probably nothing worse than trying to sell a beautiful home that has like bright purple walls or something. So it's nice that they can go in here and say, okay, here's how it currently looks, but just so you know, with a paint job, it'll look like this. So lots of use cases here for sure. We talked about Whisper Flow. I do like to talk about pricing. I've been using it pretty hard and I'm on the free version. So I couldn't imagine how much you have to type to pay. But it has to be a lot because I type quite a bit. The Perplexity browser called Comet that I showed you earlier that was doing that LinkedIn posting for me, they actually just put out a free version this week. So you can go ahead and download it and give it a try. The OpenAI Atlas version of their agent browser, I will say just from what I've heard so far, is that people are saying to stick with Comet for security reasons at this point. So shout out to my members who told me that this morning. Okay, here's Manus, which I was talking about earlier. So Manus can do really deep research. It's a really great agentic research tool. And at the same time, the way it presents its research is amazing. So it can create PowerPoint presentations. It can create websites for you. It'll create infographics. Couldn't think of the word. So it does a lot of really awesome things. And I thought I'd show you just a few ways that I've been using it. Okay, so this one, I'm trying really hard to grow on TikTok. It's been a thing that my marketing person and I are working on. And so actually I want to start with this one. So I put in this prompt and I said, oh, why did you go to the bottom? It was review my website, then do the following. And it was to identify my top 3 to 5 competitors. And then I asked it to do an entire competitive research based on their digital footprint. So everything from websites to blogs to social media to ads. And then I wanted all of these things in the report. So what are the strengths and weaknesses of each competitor, quick win tactics. And I needed this because I wanted to see what people in my industry were doing well on TikTok. So basically it created this really awesome report. And this one just was a regular document. I didn't ask them to put it into any sort of website, but I downloaded that. And then I went in and I had it create my 30, 60, and 90-day TikTok plan. And it did a really great job. So if any of you follow me, I am on a new thing where it's things you can do with AI for your small business every day. And so this research is how I got that idea. And it's been helping me a lot, I have to say. Many of you already stated that you're using Claude, but it's a great tool and it also creates websites, landing pages. It's able to connect with everything. Um, it's hard for me to stay on track here because with MCP servers now, which are connectors basically, you can connect to apps outside of what they're saying in here. And so you can even see though, just in Claude, there's so many different places that you could connect and automate. And honestly, a really great way to do this is do that business blueprint, take a screenshot of all of the tools that you use and upload it into Claude and say, how could I automate aspects of my business knowing that I use these tools? That's what I would do anyway. So I use Claude mostly for, like I said, my Gmail organization, and then also for a lot of my course content that I come up with. Okay, if you haven't put down ai.google.com yet, do that. Um, Google did a huge pivot last March, so almost like 6 months ago now, where they came out with just a huge solid AI suite. Like everything they're building has been so good. And it was interesting because before that, Gemini was kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the LLMs out there. But now all of their stuff is great. And if you just hit products, you can see all of the products that they have. They'll load up and kind of explain what they do. But we saw Nano Banana already today. They also have really great video creation with Flow, and they're coming out with new app builders and agent builders all the time. So I would just suggest bookmarking this and checking it out once in a while. Checking on time, I want to make sure we have time for Lovable. I'm going to go to my dashboard and show you a different one because I'm sick of talking about Jam AI. All right. There was one that we built together. Here we go. So my mom is going through some life changes and she's moving and is thinking she'd like to do some dog care. And so in our club, we decided to build a website for her. So this was the first one that we built with Lovable. And again, if you ever struggle with building a website, Vibe Coding is here. This is the website it came up with. And all we did were some simple prompts. And I will say we started in ChatGPT and we had ChatGPT help us come up with our description of what we needed to ask this system to create. But then after that, all of it is just simple communication. At one point I said, we don't need a login. It was yellow. I told it to change it to purple. I had it upload a picture of her. So here's the website it made, a little form to learn about the dog, the breed, what you're looking for. I have a little about Gail section. And then all on its own, it came up with this really cute area where it's dog testimonials, which is awesome. And then it came up with the monthly plans for her as well. And yeah, so that was one of them. And then we wanted to just try a different prompt, but with the same type of request. And it created this one, which I think is also really pretty and looks very professional. You can schedule a consultation or book. We have the same form. This one's cheaper, I see. Yeah, and we have more wagamonials. Why to choose. So this is a really great way to create websites, landing pages. You can publish them and then they'll have some sort of Lovable app URL, or you can always add a custom domain to it. So you can add your existing domain. This goes right to all those main domain purchase providers like GoDaddy or you can buy a domain right through them and they'll apply it in this platform. Again, I like to make sure people know I'm not representing this company. There's multiple other vibe coding platforms out there. In fact, if you go to your digital workbook, there's one called Mocha AI. And actually, this digital workbook is built in Mocha AI. And if you want to clone it, you can see it has like a little clone with Mocha tool here. And so you could clone it and brand it for your brand. One of the things I wanted to talk about today kind of goes along with Mocha. So it's an AI repository. So one of the things that we're finding, and it's been a big discussion point in Club Jam, is we're creating all these amazing prompts and content and tools, and I have nowhere to put them. And so we're using, let's see here, hopefully it reloads. We're using Mocha. We built an agent clubhouse, which is telling me to wait. But it's an organization system where you can put all your prompts, you can put your to-do list. I wonder if I can. So yeah, it looks like this every day. You go in and you can click on assets. And if you have a prompt you really like, you just hit new prompt and you add it in, you can categorize it. So this is really cool to think about subscription management. We talked about that today, like how we all have so many things going. You can do your to-do list every day. We had an idea to put in a manifestation journal and see if our actions of the day are getting us closer to where we want to be. So I'm showing you this because it's actually very easy to copy. So I'll send this in the chat or in the question answer area, or we'll follow up with it. But basically you can just hit clone with Mocha, and then you can simply vibe code with it and tell it what you want it to look like. So it's just like Lovable, but you're vibe coding your own internal tool in this case. And that's been really important because, like I said, we're all creating so much content and it gets lost. And even the good stuff we're creating, it gets lost. One of the things that we put in there is, we've talked to thousands of small business owners and we want to just boil down a couple lessons when it comes to AI. So identify where your bottleneck is. Don't go after the most flashy tool out there because there's a lot of flashy tools out there. Figure out your brand voice and your workflows before you get a tool. Prompting is a process, not poetry. I really like that one. Sometimes these prompts can be long and daunting, but when they work, they work. And then your data is the difference. I can't stress that enough. If you are somebody who's like, AI doesn't work, the content doesn't sound good, remember what I said about the brand voice, and hopefully this digital workbook will help you. So here's a few tips that you can start doing this week or next week, since it's the end of the week right now. But create your LLM training document in Manus. So I told you when we were in here in Manus that it is one of the best research tools there is. So I love going in and saying, research my business. I'll put in the URL and then I'll say, create an LLM training guide off of the information you find about me. Simple. And it'll create that LLM document for you. You don't have to have subscriptions to everything. If you like Claude, stick with it. If you like ChatGPT, stick with it. I suggest doing that. Otherwise, you're going to have projects in Claude and custom GPTs in Chat and gems in Gemini, and you're not going to remember why you built them or where they are. And then create an AI repository. All right, I want to get to questions, but I just want to end on a uplifting note about AI, because I know it can be overwhelming. But AI is the power tool, but we're really still the craftsmen and women. we're really the ones who are powering it and making it provide good information for our businesses. And it's something that you have to work on every day. It's something that takes a lot of research, and it's something that you have to invest in. And just moving forward, I don't think success is going to be about traditional skills anymore. It's going to be about how you can use AI to amplify the strengths that you have and use it to cover any of your weaknesses. All right, here's my information if you need. This is my email. If you go to our website, we have a bunch of cool free things for you, templates and guides. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I guess, Cody, let's take a look at the Q&A for our last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got tons of questions. I'm trying to look at the more broader ones. Some of them are very specific cases. Yeah, I think the major one I see here is what AI tools have you seen that work best for different types of businesses, whether that be product-based businesses versus service-based businesses?
Oh, you just reminded me, because when you said product-based, I thought about how you can put products into images and videos, and I never showed you guys my avatar. That's so good. Hold on. So I'll answer that question, but first, let me show you this.
Yes.
You guys, this is not me. Isn't this crazy? Here. See if it'll play it. I need one that's already done.
We can hear the sound.
I know. Let's see here. Welcome back to things you can do with AI for your small business.
So we can't hear the sound, but
oh shoot!
I mean, no, you're good.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It definitely looks like a normal person talking.
Yeah, and just the actions behind it, like it shows. Hey guys, I wanted to show you my new avatar. Yeah, it's wild. Also, I wish you could hear it. That makes it even better.
This is why we'll never beat the accusation that you are just an AI person.
It's true.
During these presentations.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, but
go ahead.
Yeah, well, just to answer that question, like for small business owners, it really is about having that tool stack. So I would say ChatGPT for content, and then Nano Banana for product placement, and then if you're doing videos, Hey Jen is a really cool way to try them out.
Yeah, another good question here. Let's see here. And this question comes up quite a lot. When giving access to AI to your business information, how much can we trust that it's not going to be released to the public? And I also want to put that in the context of other tools we already use. Is it just as safe as putting your information on like Google, or is this a challenge that AI tools are working through right now?
Yeah, great question. We actually brought an expert in a couple weeks ago because I get this question so much. So we had a whole AI training on AI policy and governance, and I learned so much. And the TLDR of it is basically Google products, Microsoft Office products. Those are all very secure. They're compliant. Currently, LLMs like ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude, they're working on compliance to be what's called SOC 2 compliant. So that way, like banks can use them and stuff. But currently they're not. That being said, the data you put in is training the LLM behind it. So it's not, I don't want people to think that whatever you put in can get searched and read. That's not what it is. It's training the transformers on what you're talking about. But that being said, there's been some bad news recently about, ChatGPT kind of not acting the way we would hope it would when people were asking for help, like from mental illnesses and things. And they did put in a human trigger. So if certain words are said to ChatGPT, it will go to a department and they'll intervene. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Not it doesn't work well as a therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a great question here. I really like this question. Most of my income comes from Facebook, posting reels and pictures. One, Kirk, congratulations. A lot of people try to do that and don't succeed getting income from social media. So kudos to you. So this client asks, will using AI hurt my income? So I think they're saying, if they use AI for these pictures and reels, I would think unless the pictures and reels showcases like their skills in photography or videography, do you think using AI in place of them going and making these images and reels by hand, do you think an AI creating those would hurt their income?
Well, it depends. I think if you're talking about using avatars of yourself, I think it's okay to do once in a while. And that's based on, I see people do it all the time, actually. So, like, there's this girl, and I'd say probably half of her videos now are avatars. Same with Sabrina. What was her name? She was like a lot of people are doing it. Does it ruin your reputation? I don't know. I would be careful because I know that, when you post through Hootsuite and Buffer and things like that, it does tag the post. And I don't know if that will, hurt your algorithm or not. The answer is I don't know, but let's do some research on it together. And
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I guess clarify, is there a way to post these AI created images or videos that doesn't hurt? So if you're using an avatar, it's possible that people can tell that you're just being an avatar. But if it's, I guess, products, or maybe it's if it's just a service, it doesn't have your face in it, but it shows somebody like changing a tire or giving
yeah,
I don't know, dog or something like that. Do you think images that are produced by AI showing stuff like that, would that harm income?
I don't think so. In fact, I think it's the opposite because you're going to be able to make videos that speak so directly to your consumer now. And really, people want to see content that shows themselves in a way. And now, when you do all this research and find out who your audience is and who you're talking to, with AI, you can make videos that really resonate with them.
All right, let's see here. Somebody asked, what did you use to create the AI avatar? I think you mentioned it before.
Yeah, it's called Hey Jen, and it is in your workbook.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Yep.
And then somebody just asked, did this just start? My email said 1 p.m. So 1 p.m. Eastern time is when this webinar starts. So don't worry. As soon as this webinar ends, it will upload the recording. So if you come back to this link, you'll be able to go back to the beginning and watch it. But in those emails, it'll say 1 p.m. Eastern time for these webinars. Let's see here. Legal questions. Do you know of any? And I know you can't provide legal advice. Do you have any updates on using AI created images or logos for your business? Is there? Have we seen any movement as far as copyright or anything like that when it comes to using AI images?
Yeah. So all I know for that, and all I'm allowed to say, is that it is governed state by state. And you'll be seeing AI governance and policies coming out state by state. And what we're seeing is that the more human interaction with the prompt, the more they're allowed. So it's interesting for sure. Interesting frontier.
Definitely. And it's always changing. That's why we're going to continue to do webinars like this.
Yes.
Yeah, just stay tuned because there's definitely going to be continue to be webinars that go over AI, obviously, especially when it comes to small businesses that maybe you're not able to afford to hire somebody, so you use AI instead. So that being said, that's all the time we have for questions. We went over like 2 minutes.